Mickey knelt down to inspect the beautiful fir tree, his face alight with excitement as he brushed some snow off its branches, revealing the vibrant green needles. The scene around him was picturesque, with the sun shining brightly through the trees, casting a warm glow over the winter wonderland where he and Pluto played. Mickey stood triumphantly next to the chosen Christmas tree, hands on his hips as he proudly admired it, while Pluto sat beside him, tail wagging eagerly. A close-up of Mickey's face captured pure joy and satisfaction, with snowflakes gently landing on his hat amidst the serene forest backdrop. The fresh December air bit at Mickey Mouse's cheeks as he ventured into the snowy woods near Tuluá. Beside him, his loyal friend Pluto joyfully leaped among the snowdrifts, tongue hanging out and eyes gleaming with anticipation. It was the perfect day to find the ideal Christmas tree. "Look, Pluto! How beautiful!" Mickey exclaimed, pointing to a particularly lush and tall fir tree covered in a layer of snow that sparkled like diamonds under the sun.
Pluto, however, did not seem so enthusiastic. His tail stopped wagging and he began to bark softly, tugging at Mickey's coat sleeve with his snout. He was trying to direct his friend's attention to the trunk of the tree where two little black eyes stared back with increasing alarm from a hole. "What's wrong, buddy?" Mickey asked, not understanding Pluto's insistence. "This tree is perfect! It's just the size we need for the living room." Pluto's eyes widened as he barked more insistently, trying to make Mickey see the hidden danger. The tree loomed over them, its strong trunk inviting yet hiding a secret. Mickey scratched his head in confusion, glancing between the tree and his eager companion. "I just don't understand, Pluto. It's a perfect tree for our decorations." But Pluto continued to bark, urging Mickey to look closer, knowing that something was not right. As Mickey knelt down to get a better look, he finally noticed the little squirrel peeking out from the tree. The tiny creature's bushy tail flicked nervously, displaying its alarm at the noise. "Oh, I see now, Pluto!" Mickey exclaimed, realization dawning on him. "We can't take this tree! It's home to this little guy!" Pluto wagged his tail, pleased that Mickey understood, and together they decided to find another perfect tree, one that would keep all its inhabitants safe. Chip clenched the doorframe tightly, his big eyes darting between the giant and his companion, his heart racing with fear. Dale, crouching behind a pile of acorns, felt the weight of impending doom as the duo approached their beloved home. Pluto whimpered and barked again, shaking his head side to side as he pointed to the trunk with his nose. He seemed desperate to communicate something. Meanwhile, inside the cozy home that Chip and Dale had built in the depths of that fir tree, chaos reigned. The two squirrel brothers watched in horror as a giant with round ears and his clumsy canine companion approached their house with clearly destructive intentions. The giant loomed over the treetops, a wide grin on his face, as he reached down to pet Pluto, who wagged his tail despite the tense atmosphere. Meanwhile, the dog clumsily stumbled forward, crashing into a nearby bush, sending leaves flying as he moved closer to Chip and Dale's sanctuary. "Chip, look! They're going to cut down our home!" yelled Dale, his eyes wide open. "We have to do something!" replied Chip, his little mind racing. "We need to warn them!" With urgency, Dale and Chip dashed through the forest, weaving past trees and underbrush focused on reaching their friends. They gathered their forest companions, speaking in hushed tones about the impending danger, their hearts pounding with fear. The little animals listened closely as Dale and Chip explained the danger lurking nearby, their faces reflecting concern. United by a common goal, they started brainstorming ways to protect their home, each member contributing to the urgent discussion. Dale climbed onto a rock, passionately calling out to his fellow creatures, inspiring them to join the fight for their home. Meanwhile, Chip was busy organizing the raccoons and birds, carefully outlining their strategy, ensuring everyone knew their role. Together, the animals began building makeshift barricades, their determination evident as they worked in harmony. Chip and Dale supervised the creation of a vibrant sign proclaiming, "Save our home," a symbol of their unity and fight against the threat.
And so as Mickey brought out his gleaming axe, Chip and Dale launched into a desperate mission. They raced down the tree trunk trying to catch the attention of the two intruders. They crossed Mickey's path, squeaking and jumping, but the mouse was too focused on his task. Pluto, seeing the distress of the chipmunks, barked louder, tugging at Mickey's pants and running in circles around the tree. He was desperately trying to make his friend understand that they were not alone in that tree. Mickey, still unaware of Chip and Dale's antics, raised his axe high above his head, ready to chop at the base of the tree with intense focus. Pluto barked excitedly, looking up at Mickey with wide eyes while Chip and Dale clung to the side of the tree, their expressions a mix of fear and determination. Chip and Dale worked together, forming a human chain as they climbed higher on the tree, desperately trying to get closer to Mickey's line of sight. Mickey glanced sideways, his expression shifting from concentration to surprise as he finally noticed the frantic movements of the chipmunks. Mickey lowered his axe in confusion, looking at Chip and Dale with a puzzled expression as they gesticulated wildly, trying to explain the situation. Pluto sat at the base of the tree, panting heavily but looking determined, keeping his eyes fixed on Mickey and the chipmunks above.
Mickey rushed over to Pluto, kneeling beside him with worry on his face, gently checking to see if his loyal companion was all right. Chip and Dale watched from above, their expressions a mixture of concern and curiosity. The serene white landscape surrounded them, the tall fir tree standing proudly in the backdrop as Mickey comforted Pluto, who was slowly recovering from the shock. Finally, frustrated by Mickey's lack of attention, Pluto ran after the elusive squirrels. Chip and Dale, agile and quick, led him on a frantic chase around the tree, through the snow and the bushes. In his eagerness to catch them, Pluto tripped over a hidden root beneath the snow and went flying, smashing into the trunk of the fir tree with a loud thud. The tree shook violently. Startled by the noise and the sudden impact, Mickey dropped his axe and turned to see what had happened. He spotted Pluto dazed, shaking his head, and right above him, Chip and Dale peeking out from their hole, visibly trembling. Slowly, Pluto regained his footing, wagging his tail gratefully at Mickey as the sun filtered through the trees, creating a warm glow around them. Chip and Dale animatedly chattered to each other, cautiously approaching Pluto from the side, their mischievous smiles returning as they engaged with the big dog, ready for more playful antics.
Realization hit Mickey like a snowball to the face. This wasn't just a tree, it was someone's home. He looked at Pluto, who was now whimpering and pointing at the hole with his paw. "Oh, Pluto!" Mickey exclaimed, feeling embarrassed. "You were trying to tell me!" Mickey knelt beside Pluto, his shock transforming into regret as he reached out to comfort his friend. In front of them, the small hole revealed scattered belongings, remnants of a once-loved home, with bits of fabric and tiny toys peeking out. Mickey and Pluto stood up, determination in their eyes, as they prepared to gather materials to rebuild the home. Snowflakes gently fell around them as Mickey picked up branches and twigs, while Pluto watched closely, his tail wagging in anticipation of their next move. Mickey and Pluto worked side by side, stacking branches to form a makeshift shelter, smiles starting to brighten their faces. The snowy scene captured their laughter as they were surrounded by a small pile of sticks and pine cones, showcasing the spirit of teamwork. Chip and Dale, realizing that the immediate danger had passed, carefully climbed down from the tree. Mickey knelt down, a sincere expression of apology on his face. "We're very sorry, little friends," he said gently. "We didn't know you lived here. We would never want to harm you." Chip glanced up at Mickey, his eyes wide with a mix of uncertainty and trust as he considered what had just happened. Dale stood beside him, arms crossed, slightly tilting his head, embodying a playful yet cautious attitude towards Mickey. Mickey extended his hand towards Chip and Dale, a friendly gesture that radiated warmth and reassurance with the sunlight filtering softly through the trees. Chip and Dale exchanged glances, visibly pondering Mickey's intentions, while their surroundings remained calm and inviting. Chip took a tentative step forward, his tiny hand reaching out to meet Mickey's, showcasing both courage and apprehension. Meanwhile, Dale grinned, clapping his hands together in excitement as he encouraged Chip to take the leap towards friendship. As the celebration began, Mickey smiled at the beautifully set table, adorned with delicious holiday treats. Chip and Dale entered the cozy house, their eyes filled with excitement as they took in the festive atmosphere. The squirrels exchanged uncertain glances for a moment before timidly approaching. Pluto moved closer to them, softly wagging his tail as a sign of friendship. In the end, Mickey chose not to cut down the tree. Instead, the three friends returned to the house together, leaving the fir tree and its small inhabitants in peace. That night, Mickey invited Chip and Dale to join his Christmas celebration. The table was filled with scrumptious cookies, steaming mugs of hot cocoa, and sparkling ornaments that added to the warmth of the holiday spirit. Mickey, Chip, and Dale huddled around the table, laughing and sharing joyful stories, bathed in the gentle glow of twinkling lights. Mickey led Chip and Dale in a joyful Christmas carol, their faces lit up with happiness as they sang beneath the twinkling decorations. Outside the window, soft snowflakes descended gracefully, blanketing the ground. while the warm light from the house offered a comforting contrast to the chilly winter night. Chip and Dale were sitting on a small ledge by the window, observing the scene with amazement and joy as they nibbled on the nuts that Mickey had offered them. Pluto was also there, although he kept a little distance from the group. Chip and Dale exchanged excited chatter, their faces lit up by the bright sunlight streaming through the window as they savored their treats. Pluto watched them with playful interest, his ears perked up, and a glint of mischief in his eyes, contemplating whether to join in on the fun. Chip animatedly gestured with his tiny paws, sharing a thrilling tale about their latest adventure, while Dale laughed heartily beside him. Pluto tilted his head in curiosity, his nose twitching, as he tried to catch the delightful scent of the nuts Chip and Dale were enjoying. Chip and Dale leaned closer together, their eyes sparkling with excitement as they plotted their next adventure, whispering secrets to one another. Pluto watched them with a friendly expression, his tail wagging as he imagined the fun escapades his little friends were about to embark on. In the heat of the previous chase, Pluto had ended up with a small tag stuck right on his snout. It was a bright red tag with white letters that said, "Do not open until Christmas." Nobody had noticed it was there. So while everyone else enthusiastically sang Silent Night and Jingle Bells, Pluto could only emit muffled whines through the sticky tag. His eyes longed for the delicious treats and cheerful company, but his mouth remained sealed until Christmas Day. As the days passed, Pluto's excitement grew with each decoration hung and every carol sung. He sat by the gleaming Christmas tree, his nose still wearing the tag, gazing longingly at the colorful presents stacked beneath its branches. The sound of laughter echoed around him as children dove into their gifts, tearing through wrapping paper with delight, while Pluto's heart raced with anticipation for the moment he could finally join in on the festivities.
Despite his silent frustration,